Hey everybody, it's Safi and Marco Dish Out on Movies, the only movie review show on YouTube to review movies in terms of food. And it's not just Marco here, but it is me for a little bit because Safi is, busy doing things and not doing reviews. And so I just want to get this damn review over with because I hate how now it's become a habit where we review movies right before we go, and then we have to sit around for an hour editing, and then we have to sit around for more hours uploading. And it's like, see, this is why I like doing videos by myself, because I do them on a timely manner. Anyways, that's just a side note to just tell you for some reason, I don't know. But we are here to review another Best Picture movie. A Safi choice, of course, because I would never choose a movie like this, ever. Well, I would, maybe, to, laugh at it and to, just go, ugh. Because, as you guys can tell, I'm not in a good mood. I had a really weird, bizarre nightmare trip where it was, 5 different stories. I think because I'm watching so many different things that I had, different nightmares and so this movie was like a whole other nightmare because it's 3 hours of nightmarish gay musical BS that I hate and despise. And Safi picked this one. It's The Sound of Music, and as you guys can tell, I'm not happy with it. And I also have a headache because I slept the wrong way. And so here's Safi. Hey, Safi, I'm already started the video. And so, hey, Safi. So you chose The Sound of Music, and I was just telling the audience that a little bit about what I feel about musicals to give them context for my review on the movie. And now, what do you have to say about The Sound of Music, besides the fact that you love it? I mean, what else do you have to say about it? Because, you can only just say that you love something so many times before you sound completely disingenuous.
Oh, my God. Well, I've seen the movie several times. It's been a long time, years though. I saw it when it came out. I went to the movies with my parents, and I was a kid. And I memorized almost, I'd say 95% of the songs, and I would go out in my backyard and swing and sing all the songs.
I bet you would.
And but it's funny because after I watched it, I still loved it, but it was really weird because some of the scenes, I don't even remember, there's a puppet scene in it.
That's the worst part. That is the worst part of the entire movie.
That's to entertain the guest. And anyway, I don't even remember watching that at all. It's like I'd listen to the music, and maybe I was distracted because I was a kid, and I did see it after that too when I was an adult.
Why is your phone on, Safi? Give me your phone.
And
I'm not gonna have any of that shit.
And so I some of the scenes, like at the very beginning of the movie, they have this huge geographical thing where they show all the mountains and the area, and I don't remember that at all. I don't think they had that in there. I think it's like a scene that maybe they cut out at the movies that's unnecessary. It was already a long movie. I mean, Marco looked up the longest movies in
longest Best Pictures, actually. Not longest movies, Best Pictures.
And because this was one of them.
I was making a point how if I had chosen movies that were 3 hours long that had won Best Picture, Safi wouldn't have done them. And Safi chose 2 out of her 3 picks were 3-hour movies. And some of the longest Best Pictures ever.
Well, I
to
didn't
win.
know that My Fair Lady, I've never seen that before. That was the very first time I've heard the music. Yeah, I guess I have seen it, but I just don't remember it. I don't remember either one of those being a really long movie, but they both had intermissions. I don't remember The Sound of Music having an intermission either.
Well, we'll get to the intermission, because the intermission is almost like an afterthought in this one. Like, at least in My Fair Lady,
Well,
it
that
happened.
was longer though, right?
No, this was longer.
Oh.
At least in My Fair Lady, it happened literally halfway through, so it was literally an intermission. This intermission happens almost at the very end. It happens like 3/4 of the way through the movie. All of a sudden, there's like a 2-minute intermission so that you can go take a quick wee and then get back in your seat. And it's like, I mean, just thinking about it logistically, like, did they shorten these intermissions for the DVDs? Because I don't know who the hell would think that it's a good idea for a theater full of 100+ people to get up for 2 minutes and quickly go to the bathroom and quickly get back to their seats.
I know, because the theater would have been full.
Like, that's ridiculous.
Yeah, back in those days, the theaters were full.
Like, like, I've gone to the bathroom really quickly in movies. Like, there was this one, Ford v Ferrari, where I went to the bathroom and it took like a minute, I think. But that's just me. Like, imagine if it was like 20+ people who had to get up, go to the bathroom all at the same time. Imagine how much longer that would have taken. That'd be like 20 minutes, right, Safi? Because, like, if it took me 1 minute, it'd be like a minute a person or more. So that's over 20 minutes.
Yeah, I the only thing I can think of is they don't expect everybody to get up during the intermission.
Why?
They expect people to get up whenever they want to get up, and that the intermission is just to take a break from just sitting there and
But back
watching.
then, people had respect for movies, and so they would get up in the intermission and they would stay the rest of the time. If that's true, at least, if people respected movies back then, which by this movie it doesn't really seem like they did, because why did they give this piece of annoying, awful, miserable, nightmarish, hellish,
That's
revolting,
terrible. Just because you don't like
disgusting,
musicals. No.
irritating,
You're being jaded, and I
dumb.
don't like it. That's not right. I watched some really crappy
like what?
movies, and I try to give everything a fair chance. But
I gave this a fair chance.
There's
and,
no way,
and
because it was a simple little story.
And it just slapped me in the face for 3
and
hours.
The music was really good.
It just
and the
slapped
singers
me.
were, except for her,
It slapped me.
the girl.
What girl?
The 16-year-old.
Lilala? What's her name again? What was her name? Liliaya or something?
No.
Liliaya?
No.
Lilith of the Valley?
No.
What was her name?
I
Tell
don't
me
know.
her name.
I don't know.
What was her name?
I don't know.
Lidiltil? What was her name?
I don't know.
I mean, it was really bizarre
I
because
don't remember their names.
Safi,
Brigida.
you better
I
get
remember Brigida.
Brigida,
because
Virgida, and Virginia, and something else that I can't
it's
say.
Austrian. They have European names. They don't have.
Shittyaya.
I think you're being very narrow-minded and
Well,
jaded.
this movie narrowed my mind so much that it like squeezed my mind until it exploded in frustration. Because
that's too bad.
let's talk about it, because here's my first example of why this movie's trash. Of course,
Well, I don't think there's going to be very many people who agree with you.
there
This movie's trash.
There will
I believe it.
There will be. Because first off, you got this complete contradiction where you have Liliaya.
Her name isn't
And-
Liliaya.
Well, you don't know her name, so you don't obviously respect her enough to care, so why should I care? And Lily Aya sings a little song. She has like a fetish for telegrams or something, and she has to sing to her ugly ass German looking, like he looks like a
Honey, they're in Austria.
ugh.
He's Austrian.
Rolf,
He's
Rolf, like James Rolf, like, you know, you got this Rolf little
a German sympathizer.
douchebag. I'm not gonna say what else I was gonna call him, and she's just singing and singing. Why won't you sing me a telegram? I want a telegram, and I want you to put in the telegram. Send me that telegram right now. I want the telegram right now. And that's the whole song. It goes on for like an hour. And then
the song isn't about a telegram. The
yeah,
song
it
is
is
about their ages.
She was saying,
She's
give me a
16
telegram.
Going on 17. They don't sing a song.
Oh, yeah. That was even funnier because she's like, I need an older boy to tell me what to do. I need an older boy to tell me to go get him a sandwich. I need an older boy to tell me to get his slippers. Remember that, Safi? And that was a lot better because that made sense. This was just kind of like out of nowhere, completely unnecessary, completely pointless, completely needless, and then literally I'm not gonna say that anymore because that makes me sound weird. 10 minutes later, stop fondling with your stuff, Safi.
Oh no.
5 minutes later, she's telling all the kids how to sing a song. And you got Lily Aya.
Who is doing that? Julie Andrews?
Yeah, but and Lily Aya is acting like she doesn't know how to sing a song after she just sang a song. She just sang a song 5 minutes ago. And so why is it that like 5 minutes after Lily Aya sang a song, she's pretending like she doesn't know how to sing a song? Safi?
I don't know.
Were you listening?
Yeah, I'm listening.
No, you weren't.
We already talked about that, too.
No, we didn't.
Okay, I'll tell you.
I said, why was Lily Aya pretending like she didn't know how to sing a song?
I don't know why she said that. The thing is, with that character, way back when this movie came out, everybody criticized her.
Well, I'm going to criticize her even more.
Because when she sang her song, which was like, the solo, I think it was just the only really big solo that she sang. She was flat all throughout it, and it grated on everybody's ears. And that was, but out of all the characters, like for their singing...
Well, it wasn't the only time she was flat.
Her.
It wasn't the only time she was flat, Safi.
Well, I'm not gonna go into personal attacks against somebody.
I am.
I'm just well, that's stupid. That has nothing to do with the movie.
I'm personally attacking the character who I thought was trash.
Well, she's older now. She's probably in her 70s.
Well...
But anyway, she was flat, and that was the only character everybody really criticized was her for her performance.
I'm going to criticize all of them.
If you're talking about performance.
I'm going to criticize all of them equally. And so the movie starts off, and already you know that this is going to be another word for happy that Safi says that I can't say, even though people say gay all the time. In fact, and so I won't get into that, but that's just retarded. And so this movie starts off with... you can say whatever you want.
No, you can't.
And Julie Andrews... Yeah, you can.
No, you can't.
And just to start off, I'm sorry, but this is the least attractive...
I don't like her hair.
Character in the entire list of movies we've reviewed.
Well, I don't like her hair.
I don't
didn't
either.
like it back then either.
It is so
why is her hair all
ugly?
Because in Mary Poppins, it wasn't like that.
It just makes me curl up in anger and want to just completely claw my eyes out with screwdrivers.
The only thing I could think of is she was supposed to be a nun, and she was a nun in training. I don't know what they have a different name for it, and they're not supposed to have long hair.
Her hair
they cut their
was
hair off.
so ugly.
Yeah, I didn't
That
like it.
I thought, like, who in the hell would be attracted to this demon? This demon girl. She was a demon. And this
Oh my
open...
God. This is ridiculous. This isn't a movie review. This is just a personal attack against
I'm
people.
talking about the character.
No, I really don't like what you're doing. I'm sorry. She had the most beautiful voice. And she sang, I mean, and she had a lot of,
Safi.
you know how we'll say sometimes, like, I can't even remember. Some of these movies will say the character didn't have any energy, and it's almost like they had to drag themselves to the movie studio to even do their part that day. She had a lot of energy, and she was younger. She had this beautiful voice. You know, she lost her voice.
Really?
Something happened. They said she had nodes on her.
Well, I wish that instead of losing...
She had surgery and they ruined her voice.
I wish instead of losing her voice, she would have lost that ugly-ass haircut instead.
Yeah, she kept that haircut. Almost kind of versions of it. I didn't like it back then. I didn't like the girl who was 16 going on 17 very, very much. She was okay, but she did. And I listened to it too, because I was thinking at the time, and like, I don't know why everybody's saying this, I don't care. And so I did listen to it very carefully. She was flat for the whole song.
Well, okay, we gotta tear this movie apart.
No, I don't want to tear the movie apart.
Well, there's good things to say about it, but
okay,
there's a lot.
I want to hear what you have to say that's good
Well,
about it.
I need to finish the bad things first.
Okay,
because
so you don't like Julie Andrews' hair?
No,
in the movie.
that's not the only thing. She is the first scene. I was talking about the first scene 5 minutes
she's
ago.
In the field singing?
Safi, I need to talk now. The first scene is about Julie Andrews, and it's just like, it's so random. Like, all of a sudden, the movie, like, flies in, and it's like The Shining, and it's like, and you got these mountains, and it's like, you can tell that they're really obsessed with mountains.
That's
like,
because it's the area in which they're in.
But, like, they have, like, some sort of a fetish for mountains. And she's just, like, all alone in the middle of the mountaintops, singing and dancing around and having a gay old time. And it's like, what is this? Like, what is this? Like, what is this? What is this character? Like, she is almost, like, so, just, like, sugary, like a Hallmark movie character that it just makes you want to puke. And it's just, like, who is this person? Like, who is she? It like, what is this? Like, this is like a 1960s hippies fever dream. And you guys know by now, by all those pieces of shit, former hippies who have basically shown their true colors on how they're pro-censorship, and they're basically, hippies were never real. They were corporate-backed, CIA-backed fakes and frauds. And you have people, this is exactly what that character was. This is a 1960s hippie-ass biatch, and she is a demon. I mean, she is a demon. And her name is Maria. Well, I'm going to call her the diarrhea demon, because she just had mouth diarrhea, where she could not stop singing the same. And it's not like in My Fair Lady, where there were like a million different songs. This biatch would sing the same old songs a million times, as if she's just trying to drill them into your head like a female Freddy Krueger. And the dresses that she wore were so ugly. I mean, you talked about My Fair Lady deserving best costume. This movie deserves the worst costumes, because she wore all these tablecloths. She just ripped the tablecloths off these cheap 1960s Goodwill garbage can dresses, and she sewed them up herself, and you could tell because they look so bad. They look so ugly. It's like, ugh, who the hell would fall in love with this cheap tramp. And what does she do? She invades the family. She comes in there. She's almost like representative of the Nazis herself, the way that she... But the problem that I have with her, really, is that she is so weird. And her character makes no sense whatsoever. She starts off, and she's like a demon. Where she's like a troublemaker demon. And the nuns, of course, you have this first annoying song that makes you want to stab your eyeballs.
How do you solve a problem like Maria? You don't like that?
That song was like, I just wanted to cut off my face and like just skin my own face and torture myself to death before the song ended, because the song was so stupid and pointless. Like, okay, we know that she's a troublemaker. We can tell she's this weirdo who likes to dance around in the mountains all by herself singing about nonsense. And we know that she's a troublemaker. We don't need these nuns to sing about how she's a troublemaker, because then we don't even see her committing any trouble. We don't even see her.
Yes, she did.
Real what?
She was late for their.
That's so what?
Well,
she's
that's
late.
Her problem. She's
late.
I don't know. Like I said, I don't know what the person who's there, and it's at the beginning. They're not quite a nun, so they wear the kind of like a plain clothes, but they just wore a habit at the top.
Safi, do you think
she was late and she was not supposed to be?
Guess what? Do you think that if Jesus Christ came down on the earth and came back, do you think that people would complain that Jesus was late?
Probably somebody would.
No, not at all.
But anyway, she kept breaking the rules. This is just one of them. And we don't see the other rules. They talk about her singing at places she's not supposed to sing.
It's like, who cares? Who
cares?
They
have these rules.
Who cares?
It's a convent.
Well,
what can I say? Monastery for the men. They're not even supposed to speak or something.
And then she comes to the Von Trapp family.
Well, they have gone through a whole litany of nannies, because the kids want their father to pay attention to them. They lost their mother, and they don't. And some of them are probably stupid.
I'm glad you brought up the father, Safi, because
the thing is,
the father's name in this movie has come under my scrutiny, because for some reason, his name. You knew this was going to happen when you picked this movie, Safi.
Well, no, I really didn't, because I just think you're being childish.
No,
I'm not. You're really being...
Yes, I am.
I don't even know if you're taking this seriously.
The movie's a mess.
I take the movies that you have picked seriously.
The movie is a mess, Safi.
No, it isn't.
It is a mess.
Not at all.
And after the fact, it gets even worse.
I don't think so.
We'll get to that, because you don't know.
Let's hurry up.
You don't know yet.
No.
You don't know yet.
No.
And so, you got this guy. It's Christopher Plummer.
And he's really something else.
He's really good. I like him in anything he's in.
I don't think I've seen him in any other movie from that time on until just recently, before he passed away.
And his name in the movie is Georg. It's Georg.
George.
It's Georg. That's how you pronounce it in German, Safi. Georg. But in the movie, for some reason, everyone calls him Georg. Or they call him Georg. And it is probably the worst. It is like the most laughable. Like, if you had a party, everyone would laugh at that the whole time. Everyone would laugh. Everyone would they would take a shot every time these people, specifically...
Are you talking about now at a party?
Yeah, specifically the women.
Then there in Europe? Do you think they would do that then? No.
Yeah, because that's not how you pronounce the name. It's a Hollywood pronunciation of the name. And so you would take a shot every time, specifically the women would call him Georg or Georg. And so that's just one of this movie's many issues. And And so the diarrhea demon comes to their family, and it's basically this very gloomy situation where everything is sad and miserable and angry because this dad's treating the children like they're his slaves or something, and they're marching around like they're not even children. And you have this diarrhea demon, and she comes in, and she's this hippie woman who comes in and causes chaos. The kids pull all these pranks on her. Well, they pull like one prank on her, basically. Two.
They did the frog and they did a pine cone on her pillow, her seat pillow.
Two measly pranks. Wow, that's gonna send someone away? I don't think so. Those kids are lazy. They couldn't have done more than that, really. Like, I was expecting a barrage of pranks on this biatch, this hippie demon.
Home Alone. Come on.
Well, like, they only just pull these two little pranks and then they expect her to leave? Like, what is that? It's almost like the people who wrote the movie just completely gave up. And they just said, okay, that little storyline is over. Let's move on to the next storyline. The weird romance. And the romance destroys the movie. Because the romance takes up about 60% of the movie. It takes up this huge chunk of the movie. It completely ruins the movie because it's so bad. It's nonsensical. It's not reality. And we'll talk about that, because after you see the movie and you do your research and you figure out what really happened, you kind of feel like you've been had. You kind of feel like you've been bamboozled by these sugary Hollywood old men. You feel like this movie was a complete waste of time, because if they're not going to tell the truth, if they're just going to make up shit and just make this creepy 1960s anti-Nazi agenda musical, then F off. Because if I want to see a movie about Nazis, I'll go and watch The Producers and laugh at them. I don't want to watch this Hollywoodized 1960s queer musical where just the whole movie it's about this demon woman, and she makes the kids happy by making them sing, and then because she makes them sing, all of a sudden they want her to be their mother. But then the guy, he wants to be with this Baroness woman, and so he's with her for a little while, and then she finds out that it's such a mess. It is just a complete mess. Safi, why do you like this movie?
I don't understand what he's picking out little trivialities, and he's just
the whole movie is a triviality.
He's stealing everything.
No, I'm not.
It's
Safi.
It's his problem, and it's just, if you want to see this movie, and I don't know what you think. People nowadays, I don't know what they think about musicals. I mean, they like Cats, but I mean, I'm talking about this year.
No, they did not like Cats. They
Really?
hated Cats. They said it was the worst movie ever made.
Not a movie. I'm talking about a musical.
Oh, musicals? Well,
they like
that stupid shit Hamilton.
There's that, and then there was a Rent. And there are some.
They like that stupid shit too.
There were some modern musicals that people loved to watch,
and they suck.
And they didn't suck.
They
at
suck.
All. And I know the one with the witch. They just had
that is old news.
I haven't seen that. So it came here a couple of years ago, but we didn't go see it because nobody in the family likes musicals but me, and I can live without it. I don't need to do it, but I saw this. I grew up on this movie, and I saw it at the movie theater.
Oh, you're just playing on the feelings now. You're not really playing on the
because
movie.
I just watched it yesterday, and this morning I finished it up, and it was really good.
Because there comes this very cliche part in the movie where everything becomes super happy and gay. Everything's become so happy. And then all of a sudden, there's all this needless drama. And you can tell that it's just contrived Hollywood agenda
Are you
drama.
talking about the Nazi part?
Oh, we'll get to that. I'm
been-
not at that part yet.
Well, but that's been going on the whole time. It's just an undercurrent. You
Yeah,
can feel it. It's like a rumbling of it's like a volcano.
It's a needless.
It's waiting to erupt.
It's a needless agenda current because we'll talk about reality, and that is where we get to the fun part. But that is going to be the grand finale. That's going to be the encore where they say bye bye, bye bye, farewell, farewell 1,000,000 times.
It's a song. So long, farewell.
Yeah, I know the song. I heard it, and it was like a war was going on in my ears. And so you had this party scene and this cliche thing. First, the worst part of the movie, the turning point where it becomes terrible, is when they have this bad puppet show where they're doing this. I'm not even going to say the words because it immediately annoys you and makes you want to jump off one of the mountains in this movie. It starts with a Y and ends with a, I don't know. Safi knows. You know Safi, this puppet show. It is the worst thing I've ever seen. And that's the turning point because they have this party. It seems like, I guess, like they always had to have a party scene in these 60s movies because My Fair Lady had that middle party scene too. Of course, My Fair Lady is a lot better than this crap. You had this cliche, stupid Hallmark high school scene where the Baroness helps Maria, aka the diarrhea demon, find a dress to wear, and the Baroness says, "Did you know that he's in love with you and that you're making him in love with you?" And you can tell this is like some high school shit with this biatch Baroness telling this demon, this hippie demon, all about, just trying to discourage her and trying to manipulate her into leaving. Mm-hmm. And Maria falls for it. And you'd think that this wise character, supposedly, you'd think that she'd be smart enough to figure that out. But no, she runs away and she leaves a note, which is basically the same thing as like nowadays, like if you left a text message, like if you said bye-bye in the text message and then left, that's what she did. And she left them, she abandoned the children, completely abandoned Christopher Plummer, and she went back to the nuns so that she could pull a Benedetta. And and then and it's like this weird thing where she wants to be in silence because she's like it's just so weird. And then she has to have permission from her mother superior to go back and marry. Like, what a... Oh, that really was irritating.
That is totally not true.
That was the whole story.
She wasn't planning on getting married.
Or
she
just
had
to go back.
She went because she came back and she put herself in this voluntarily meditative silence thing. It's something that they do. It's not just something she would do.
Okay.
They all do. It's like another rule thing.
Oh, that's another stupid nun thing.
I don't know
that's
all that
another
Catholic
old
crap, but I can tell that's what they did.
Well,
or that's what they do now. I don't know. I don't know if they do stuff like that.
It made her character look complete trash.
Well,
and
it was stupid for her to leave. She was manipulated, like Marco said.
It was cliche.
And whatever.
It's the typical thing where in a movie where everything is happy, and then there's a big reveal that causes the main character to become sad again, and then there's this whole sadness period, and then there's a happy part at the end. And that's exactly what they did. And it never happened in real life. None of this ever happened. It was a complete false, manipulative Hollywood, sugary BS story, and it was complete work of fiction.
Well, it was very entertaining. I enjoyed it. I love the music. I really do. The puppet thing I could have done without, but it's just it's part of movie history. And it's very interesting. Marco still doesn't say it, but Birgitta, I think it's Birgitta with the very black hair. And that was Angela Cartwright. And we have been watching and reviewing seasons of all of the X-Files episodes. And Angela Cartwright, as an adult, very older adult, played this agent's mother, and who didn't believe in UFOs. And Angela Cartwright had been abducted by aliens, but that's her an adult. She was also in Lost in Space as a kid, one of the kids.
I just don't know who you're talking about
and
at all.
Was in the movie.
I never had any. I don't know any of their names. I don't know
She's
what
the black hair. She's only one of the group that has black hair.
I literally can't remember.
Long black hair.
They're all a blend of boring.
Well, whatever.
Boringness.
That's interesting, but I enjoyed the movie. There were a couple things, but I mean, it's just you're just picking.
No,
and I did hear along the way, not at the beginning when it came out, but I did hear along the way that was because nowadays when they have a story, they'll say this is loosely based on some event or something. They'll make some kind of pronouncement at the beginning. They'll never say this was an act. This actually happened, and only the names have been changed. No, they'll say, oh, it was very loosely based on whatever happened in real life.
And
so
then,
they didn't do that then.
And guess what happens then?
Never. I don't remember that happening.
You know not to waste your time watching that BS. That's what happens.
It was very entertaining, and it got an Oscar for Best Picture for a reason. I don't know what else in the movie got Oscars. Do you know? Or did anything else get an Oscar?
It got four or five other Oscars.
I don't know what it went up against either. I have no idea because
the movies that went up against were like some boring 1960s, like Doctor Zhivago and some clown thing. I don't know, like movies I don't have any interest in watching. But the whole problem with this movie is that it is just one giant mess of fiction. It is just one giant mess of they don't know what plot they want to do. They want to do a Nazi plot at one point, and the Nazi plot was such an agenda, shove in your face plot.
That was a whole movie, though. I don't know why you're saying it was shoved in your face. There was an undercurrent.
The last 30 minutes was
it went along in the beginning. Did you not pay attention?
A completely different movie than the rest of the movie.
They had a butler who was pro-Nazi, and whoever that guy was, he said he was something now. I've never heard of that word. So he was some kind of a now official in Austria for the Third Reich or something. But he was in it all along, and even the telegram boy who was flirting with whatever Lizette or whatever her name is, the 16-year-old, he was in on it too. And they were making little side remarks and having these little conferences, real brief, very brief, how the captain isn't going to go along, but he's going to have to. And then the guy
Safi
comes and says, you got I took down that, or I put up the flag. The captain's the only one who doesn't have a Nazi flag in his house. That was all.
Safi.
That wasn't a surprise.
Agenda.
God.
Okay, because before, and see, this movie is very important because it really foreshadows the problems with movies today. Because, first off, you have this problem where they completely disrespect franchises and characters and stories that are established. They change them They race swap characters. They tokenize them. They make men women. They make women men. They completely rape franchises. Like you saw what they did with the Batman. Nothing is safe. No storyline is safe. No comic book, no book, no older movie is safe from their disgusting, agenda-filled minds of destroying. And in this movie, what did they do? They completely take a real-life historical story and they just change it and to fit their agendas. Because before, they were obsessed with, like, feminazi agendas. They were obsessed with World War II agendas. And they'd have to make, like, 1,000,000 Nazi movies because one Nazi movie isn't enough. Like, apparently, people, the human race, is so stupid that they need more than one movie to tell them that Nazis shouldn't have existed. Like, apparently one war movie isn't enough. Like, people are so retarded that they don't know well enough that war is bad and that war shouldn't happen. So they need millions and millions of Nazi movies that are pointless, don't have any meaning, don't serve any purpose. They need all these movies to tell them what to think and who to vote for. And you see that nowadays. What do? Safi? They have all these agenda movies. Because before nowadays, they would make Nazi movies, they would make slave movies. It's all the same thing. Telling you what to think, telling you what to believe. Just, have 1,000,000 movies about the agenda, and then everyone will think about the agenda and believe it, whatever that agenda is. And that's what Hollywood does. And this movie is one of them, because this is a kid's movie, and
No, it isn't. Not at all.
It's rated G, and
that's what they did back then. It's not a kid's movie at all.
It is a little.
No, Marco. No, it's not a kid's movie.
And they invaded this kid's movie with agendas about Nazis, even though in real life they never had any of these problems with the Nazis. They left. They didn't give a shit about these stupid Nazis or any of these stupid old men wanting to kill each other and send young people to go off and kill each other for no reason. They didn't care about any of that. They weren't affected by any of it. They went off and toured the world. And they didn't flee to Switzerland. They fled to Italy.
They fled.
They didn't even flee on the mountains. They didn't even cross any of the mountains. That's fiction. They literally just jumped on a train and left, Safi.
Okay, well, why does that matter
Because
to you?
it's fiction.
No.
It was made up to service their agendas.
Okay, Marco, I think you've gone on quite a bit enough. You're beating a dead horse now. You're just...
Oh, so I killed it? I killed this movie? Good.
You're just repeating yourself over and over again.
Because that's what they did with these movies. They made 1,000,000 Nazi movies. They make 1,000,000 slave movies. They make 1,000,000 feminazi movies. They all say the same shit over and over and over again. And that's what this movie had to do. Well, the first half of the movie, you have the storyline. It's about her making the kids happy. Well, guess what? In real life, the dad was fine. The dad was not evil or cruel or sad at all after his wife died. He did not take it out on his children. He didn't change at all. The complete work of fiction. Complete contrived for this movie. And then you have the whole stupid cliche romance. Complete work of fiction. They got married 11 years before the Nazis took over Austria. Complete work of fiction. So, excuse me if I don't like that this entire movie is a work of disingenuous Hollywood, sanguine 1960s fiction.
Okay, well, it wasn't... I don't think it was meant to be some kind of hardcore fiction, non-fiction movie. I think it wasn't for entertainment, music, singing, performance. It wasn't for, this isn't some kind of reality show. This isn't a documentary. It's just an entertainment thing. That's what movies are for too, to entertain. So I don't know what you're doing.
I was not entertained because there wasn't any. There wasn't a single.
Musicals.
There wasn't a. Well, I liked My Fair Lady, so F off with that excuse.
No, you didn't. You hated it.
What the?
You've hated every. You don't
No.
like musicals.
No, that's not true at all.
Whatever.
I said that My Fair Lady was good, but it was too long, and because it was too long, there was a lot of stuff that needed to be cut, and that it felt like a director's cut. This movie was not only it was too long, but it had no direction. It went off in a million different directions. It did not tell a single story. It told like 10 different stories. And so I did not like that it did not stick to one story, because I wanted to see one story. My Fair Lady stuck to one story. This did not.
It's not true.
Really? What was the story?
The story was...
What was the single
the
story?
The family needed a nun. The family needed a governess.
And guess what? In real life, they did not have a governess. It was only one girl who needed a tutor. And that's how Maria got to their family. Another work of fiction.
Okay, but I mean, you know, when people watched this, they didn't care about that. They were listening and watching for the entertainment.
The family cared.
Entertainment.
The family cared. And the family, Maria herself, she was still alive until the 80s, so I bet she cared. And in fact, apparently, Maria in real life was a complete twat. And she would have outbursts.
God.
She would have
Marco,
angry...
do not talk like that.
It's true. It's true.
Do that.
I'm using other people's words
well, they
now.
Don't give a crap.
Her own family said she had angry outbursts, and she would turn into a demon monster at some times, and then all of a sudden she'd be really nice, like she had bipolar disorder or something. And so this movie was not really accurate. And it just felt so disingenuous. It did not, because you could tell they were making stuff up and to make some sort of a story. And to me, they should have just completely changed the names and made this an entirely different thing so that they couldn't pretend like this was the real family. Because I would have wanted to see a whole movie of them crossing the mountains together. And on foot. They're going to cross the mountains on foot, Safi. On foot. How are they going to do that? I want to see a movie about that. I don't want to see this crap.
I don't know, Marco. I just think you're being picky and...
No, I'm not.
Being a jerk.
No, I'm
basically,
not.
Yeah.
No.
But don't worry, we're not going to watch any more musicals, because what's the next movie we're watching?
The Deer Hunter.
Oh, I can't wait for you to complain about that one.
No, I like that one. I've already seen half of it.
My car. That's a very good movie.
Well, you never let me even say the good things about the movie. You just completely...
I've asked you about an hour ago to tell me something good about the movie, and you said, oh, there might be some good things about the movie, but I want to talk about this. You've been going on and on and on.
Because
saying the same thing over and over and over again.
No, I didn't.
You didn't like it, so get off of it. Get over it. Let's end now.
No. Because you kept interrupting me, so I had to keep going back to the points over and over again.
God.
You kept interrupting the points I was making like usual. And so I had to get all the negative points over with.
Okay, well, tell me what you thought that was good. I can't wait to hear what that would be. Because I can't see, based on everything you just said, there's nothing good about the movie.
Okay.
I don't see what you would think, except Christopher Plummer is just out. He's just... I
already said that. You ignored it.
Well,
ignored it and said I hated it.
Well, you do. You
no,
hate the movie.
It's a mixed bag. It's very negative after you find out that it's fake, and that for some reason they could have just made this a new family. They could have just made this the Von Claps or something, and that would have been fine to me. But to make it like, oh, this was a real family. These are real people. And then you look up.
That was a problem. That would be. And I remember, though, at the time, they did not. That came out. That was not really. And I didn't pay any attention. I was doing other things. I mean, that was like way beyond me. And I went on and on. I went on with my life. But that's what they should have done back then if they made a movie like that, because this is kind of what Hollywood really used to do. I guess they've kind of fallen back into that, only they put agendas in and they twist everything around to fit those. But back then, they would make a movie like that and they didn't say, and they should have. They should have put a disclaimer at the very beginning saying this is not based on the real...
No, they should have just made it a different family. Different family, different names. They shouldn't have made it like it was the real family. They changed the different names. They changed a lot of the names of the children. And there were 10 children. It wasn't 7 children. That's another bizarre thing. Safi, it's really possible for one woman to have 10 children.
Yeah.
Like it's physically possible.
Yeah.
Like, well, it just seems like
not every woman.
It just seems like she would die after like the 4th child or something.
No, that happens.
It's pretty bizarre.
No, it's not bizarre. It's happened many times.
It's pretty weird.
No, Marco, that's just it
pretty
isn't weird.
It's pretty creepy.
I don't know about that. I don't. Haven't you ever heard Cheaper by the Dozen? No, haven't you ever heard of the movie, the story?
Yeah, the
real story, Cheaper by the Dozen?
They just released an agenda version of that movie, actually.
God.
Disney did.
Well, that is actually, it was a real story, and they had 12 kids.
And now who's getting off topic?
Well, you're saying that people don't have that many kids. Yes, they have.
Well, no, I just said it's pretty insane.
Sorry.
It's pretty insane. She's
just gone on way too long.
Well, that's because you keep interrupting me. Because this woman, she popped out 10 children. I mean, that's pretty creepy.
No.
So now, because the women nowadays, they like to have one child and then they like to have the child all by themselves and not have a father for them. And that is something that's good about this movie, is that it really promotes the nuclear family, which is something that movies don't do anymore, because nowadays the nuclear family is looked at as something evil and weird, and you're not allowed to have a real family nowadays. Nowadays you do whatever you want because society has just completely thrown everything out the window. Society is made up of women like the woman in this movie. This type of just do whatever you want, hippie mindset that this woman had, this demon. And the thing is that she comes in and she heals the family and she becomes their mother and she makes their family whole again. And that is a good message, especially for children. When they're at a young age, you need to tell them that when they grow up, they need to have a real family and not do this weird thing where they get divorced and they just run off and do whatever they want like they're 10 years old. So I like the fact that this movie promoted the message of having a real family and having a 2-parent family. That was good. It had good messages. It had good anti-war messages that were completely unnecessary because it didn't happen in real life. In terms of, like, they didn't have to run away from Nazis. They didn't have to do this, like, chase around the city and all this stuff. But it was good messaging to be anti-war and anti-politics in general. And the demon, the diarrhea demon, she was a good singer sometimes, but then other times she was just annoying, like the Puppet Show song in particular. And it was weird because she had a couple of good songs, and the main one was, of course, the Sound of Music song was a good song. but she just kept on repeating these songs over and over again, and I thought like she'd make new songs. Safi?
She did that when that doe a deer. Now that's a very common song, but they did this when you know the notes. That was a completely made up song.
Well, that was one. I mean, like later on in the film where she runs away because she's immature, and
They did when they came up in that when they figured out that they were both in love and he sent the governess away. They sang this
and it sucked. It sucked.
That song. I don't know what it's called, but
it sucked. It wasn't just her. I'm talking about just her.
Oh.
Because in terms of Christopher Plummer singing, he wasn't that good. He really was like just kind of okay.
I thought he was okay.
He wasn't as good as Rex Harrison.
He's not Rex Harrison.
I know.
But, you know, probably Rex Harrison was in a lot more movies after. I would like to check that. But I don't remember seeing Christopher Plummer in any movie until today's times. Like he was in
Safi, he's been in a million movies.
And he was in that...
he's been in a million.
I'm talking about lately.
A million.
Okay, what would that be?
I don't know. Look it up.
Okay, but
he's a famous actor.
But I bet he wasn't in as many as Rex Harrison.
I bet he was in more than Rex Harrison.
I don't know.
He's not a scrub.
Oh my God.
And so
anyway, we'll be looking that up.
You won't. I was trying to say the things I liked about the movie.
Okay, well, I've got to hear. There can't be anything else because you hated it so much. Keep going. Come on, let's go.
You won't let me finish. You just keep interrupting me. And then I liked all the kids except for the teenage girl. Yeah. I thought that the teenage girl, Lily,
or something.
I thought that she was just a complete retard, and her story, her story was just so stupid. Like, she's in love with this boy. That story never comes up until the very end. Like, she's in love with him. That never goes nowhere. It never goes anywhere until the very end where it's conveniently he comes back. But I will say that all the stuff in the last 30 minutes was really good. But it felt fictionalized and it felt fake. But it's too bad because it was very good. It just felt like it was fake. So the last 30 minutes was probably the best part of the movie. After they go to the show, that is where the movie is probably at its best. It's just sad that that wasn't the whole movie and that you didn't really feel that. It just felt like a million different movies. But the last 30 minutes was really good. The ending was really good. Because the ending, I felt like that should have been another movie. Like, I would have liked to have seen a whole movie where they're just crossing over the mountains. Because that, people would have known that was fiction. And so that would have been fine. I mean, that could have been a whole movie itself. There was some good stuff at the beginning. Just in general, I thought that the movie would have been better if it was just all about how you had this troublemaker woman and she comes into this strict house and she lets these kids have fun. I thought that would have been a better movie than the movie we ended up getting. And so I thought that was some of the best stuff as well. But as I said, there's just so much crap. It's a mess. And so it's like it's like you're at the bins, and you have to pick through the bins to find the stuff that you like. Safi. That's what it's like. That's what it's like. You have to pick through. So, Safi, what would you rate this movie in terms of food?
I give it a really good meal. Like, since it's Europe and it's where they eat a lot of like beef, and they eat fish, but not. I don't know about this place. I don't think, but I give it a good steak and potatoes and a really good salad, and a really good dessert, like some kind of cherry pie or something, and that's what I would give it. A really good meal, a full meal, like a dinner type of meal, and just a regular meal, not barbecue or Chinese or tacos or pizza. I give it a really good like steak and a whole several different, a big entree with several different sides to complement it, and um, I of course I was a little kid when I saw the movie first, so but nobody was talking about how they'd been deceived because it wasn't a real story. That did come up, but it kind of came up later. The thing is about back then, you probably couldn't even have gotten away with even pretending like that was something that real that happened, because there wasn't as much informational sources as there are now. I mean, just right now,
Safi, the family was still alive.
I know that, but there wasn't a means to distribute the information as there is now. You can get your information on any topic at the minute, at the very minute after it happens, or something like that, or seconds after it happens. You may not have all the information, but I mean, it wasn't like that then. You had like 3 or 4 TV channels. You did not have VCRs. You didn't have DVD players. If you wanted to go to the movie, if you wanted to see something again, you had to depend on reruns on TV. And like some of the old movies, you might see them on Sunday morning or Saturday afternoon or something. If you wanted to see a movie again, you had to go to the movie theater and see it. And there were more newspapers then, but you had limited TV channels, and there just isn't like today. Today, they can fact check and do anything at the second that it's happened. And so for something like that, which was a made-up story, I mean, they took tons of liberties, and I don't remember how the family reacted, because I do remember they talked about that. But I mean, I was really young, so I don't even know if I heard this on the news or it was in the newspaper.
And because of this laissez-faire attitude to Hollywood raping reality, they have now started to rape everything. Old movies, they remake them, they completely bastardize them. They take comic books, they change them. They take books, they change them. There's no video games like the shitty-ass Halo series. Safi, the car's not on.
I know, but I'm getting it set up.
So Hollywood nowadays, they don't respect anything. And it all started when people didn't respect reality with this movie.
Well, they should have put a disclaimer at the beginning.
Yeah.
At the very minimum, because
I mean, people nowadays,
that wasn't right.
They complain about how Gone with the Wind is historically accurate. Oh my God! They complain all about Gone with the Wind and how that movie should be banned because it shows reality. Fucking loser-ass SJWs complain about that. But then they never complained about this movie and how it doesn't show reality. The family never had any turmoil with Nazis. They left off and they toured the world singing songs. But they went to United States. They went to London. They went all over Europe. They didn't care about the stupid war. The stupid, pointless, dumb war. Who cares about war? Hollywood. Because Hollywood profits off of war. Okay, now my food review, I just can't rate this anything other than what I remember most about the movie. is the first time I watched this movie, I was forced to watch it back when I was a kid, and I was even worse than I am now. Because when I was a kid, I wanted to watch horror movies. And anytime people forced me to watch something else, I would get really pissed off. And one of the times was I was forced to watch this movie, and I hated it, and I just couldn't stand it. It was like drills drilling into my eardrums, stabbing into my ears, torturing me. And at the same time, the meal that we had for dinner was salmon patties. And we had salmon patties that were dry, they were overcooked, they were flavorless and dull. But then you had like some vegetable on the side, and then you had rice on the side, and the rice hardly had any butter on it. And it's like just this big mess of stuff on your plate that you have to sort through to find good parts to like, and you just eat it and put up with it, and then it's over. That's what I give this movie. Safi, wake up and...
I was just thinking about...
Well, don't you agree with that? How this movie, it's 3 hours, so it's 3 hours of stuff that you have to pick through and say, oh, I like that little thing, I like that little thing. You can't really say you like the whole movie because it wasn't consistent.
Well, I liked most of the movie.
You did.
But I didn't like the young girl, and the thing where the... Of course, this is like a typical story, though. He was saying it was like, what do you call it? Like a Hallmark movie. In other words, it's not scripted, but it's can't think of the word. Formula. It's formulaic.
Yeah.
When the Countess wants him to marry her, she's older. She needs a husband. And she had a husband. I guess he didn't leave her any money or something. I don't know. He took her money, left her not with very much or something. And she wants him. But I think she actually does love him. But she recognizes that they don't really have a love relationship. And so you can tell she's jealous because of how she says the things she does. And Maria who's never had a relationship of any kind, ever, may be naive to relationships, and so that's why she didn't recognize the fact the woman was jealous. That she was making that up, saying crap about the love to drive her away.
And I really didn't like how Maria abandoned them.
Yeah, and she didn't say goodbye.
She abandoned these children. She didn't say goodbye to the kids. She didn't say goodbye to him. Did not like that behavior at all.
Because he would have, but that fit her flighty behavior.
I didn't like it.
And Marco talked about that, and it sounded like he was just going on and on. But it's true. They were saying that about her. All those nuns, they were saying, what do you like about Maria? And I can't even remember. I guess it was her singing, but they didn't like her rule breaking because they all had to follow this set of rules, and they're very strict. And so it fit her, quote, flighty personality to leave and not say goodbye and to be like not think about what she was doing. And think maybe that woman's jealous of me, but she didn't. That thought didn't enter her mind because she didn't have any experience.
Whatever.
She was naive about everything. I mean, think about it. She's been shut up in that convent, and she really did not have any life experience. She's been sheltered from reality. You could tell as an outsider watching the movie that the Baroness was jealous, and she didn't. She was driving her away, and it was too easy, really.
That's masterful storytelling, Safi.
Well, it was too easy too. I mean, Maria just left. What happened was they had this party, did all these performances, and then it was time to do the party.
It's an hour and 10 minutes long now.
Well, I didn't do all the pontificating. You did. But anyway, they asked her to join dinner,
Safi.
have dinner, and so she was getting clothes for the dinner. She didn't know what to wear.
God,
And that Baroness came up and helped, but really she drove her away. And she left. So anyway, there were just a few things, but I'm not going to, it was a very entertaining, joyous movie. And I can't remember how the family reacted to the non-reality of it.
Oh,
Because I don't know.
They were pissed off.
Well, I thought so too. I can't remember though. And because the thing is, in a movie like that today, like I said, they usually have some kind of disclaimer, but also
Nowadays,
people are aware that it's not a problem.
You don't even want to talk about nowadays, because nowadays the whole family would have been tokenized. The girl, she would have been like a feminazi character. You know, it would have been a complete disaster. So, Safi, did this movie deserve to win Best Picture?
Yes, it did.
No, it didn't.
Yes, it did.
No, it didn't.
Well, I think it did.
And guess what? It won Best Picture right after My Fair Lady won Best Picture.
Oh, did it?
And it's almost like...
Well, it was the time of musicals.
The Academy was so obsessed with musicals,
Yeah.
they just gave this the Best Picture, because they're like, oh yeah, let's just give musicals Best Picture.
No, I don't think so.
That's
I don't know
me.
I don't know what else it was up against. It's hard to believe it would have been up against Dr. Zhivago, because I think Dr. Zhivago was some kind of really big movie. I saw it when it came out, and you know, you had all these famous actors and actresses in it, and it was very exotic, and so I'm going to have to look at a few things, and that would be one. What did Sound of Music compete with at that particular Oscars? Do you know what year it was that it came out?
Well, it was 1966 Oscars, I think.
Really?
I can't remember, because this movie was a disaster.
Okay, so if you like this video, if you're done now, I'm done. Please press the like button. And if you want to make comments about Sound of Music or any other Oscar-winning picture movie that we've talked about already, like let's say My Fair Lady or Marty, or any of those.
We're not done with the Best Picture, Safi.
I know we have a few more to do, and then we'll be done. But that's it, everybody. So press the subscribe button if you would like to be one of our subscribers, and that's it.
Bye, everybody.